Right. So yeah, Flats couldn't manage to live stream it live. I know nobody's probably got to watch this, but I might as well just stream the rest of Flatzoid's debate live until the till the after debate stream, after show stream. So let's get on and share it. Let's get on and share it. Right, present. Just stream. So let's get on and share it. Share screen. It's alright. It's alright. I don't think anything's in my chat anyway. At the minute, I can't check. Right. So there we go. Share and turn that up and go on.
Bring up many more. We can go to Joshua 10 where we look at Job 10 where we look at the sun stopping instead of the earth moving. Notice that I did say if it did come out wrong, yes, it's the rotation of the earth in 24 hours, but it still has to go around something to make that rotation of it, because you are falling away from the sun to make your day. There was no sun to make a day. And also note that your heliocentric model, like I said in the beginning, you didn't have a earth to rotate because it was formless. There was nothing there. So everything I've said, you can get, if you want, I can bring up.
Hey, True Earth Cherry Popper. I'm not going to be talking much just so I can hear the debate. It was on in Flax's, but it went off for some reason, so I put it on here. Why not? So I won't talk, guys. I'll just I'll say hello and that when people come in, but I won't be talking.
Be based on the Bible. People have different views. I'm specifically telling you this is what the Bible says. This is what I ascribe to, and I think it's wrong to try and rope me into a model I don't ascribe to.
It's not my fault that you don't understand the history of your own ideas. Your ideas do descend from Samuel Robotham. Yes, he did base them on what he understood the Bible to say, but both you and he are wrong in the same way for the same reason.
Good to see you, Jeff, man. Good to see you.
And I mean, you still haven't addressed any single point I've made. You haven't shown me one verse from the Bible that shows a Robothamist sun or a Zetetic sun or whatever you want to call it. I think you're just confused on like the globe model because you said that the Earth has to go around something for a day. The only thing it's going around is its own axis. You know, it's the poles, the north and south poles, and a sphere can be formless too. I mean, you're just kind of throwing mud here. And the other challenge was like a consistent hermeneutic for Matthew 5:45 and Ephesians 4:26. You gave a sermon. You didn't, and you know, thank you for the sermon. It was those are indeed the lessons that are being taught, but that doesn't address my point.
Notice again, guys, he's ignoring the big issue he has. The Bible doesn't describe it having a form, so therefore you can't claim heliocentrism. He also, again, keep on pushing me with Robothanism, which I have no anything to do with him. I've never claimed him. I've never said I claim. In fact, I've said I don't ascribe to Robothanism. I ascribe to Hebrew cosmology. If his model is similar to Hebrew cosmology, it doesn't mean I ascribe to his cosmology. No, the Hebrew cosmology has been around since Moses. God spoke directly to Moses. So that's when the Hebrew cosmology was presented to the Israelites, to everybody. So, no.
Go make a coffee, guys. I'll just leave you to it.
You're trying to push me on? I'm telling you straight, the Bible describes the flat earth. I can give you a whole plethora of verses to give so, but we can just go to Genesis alone to show that it does show a flat earth, and it can only work with a flat earth. I still don't see you going and just saying I don't understand, or that you're trying to still push a model on me that I don't agree with. Doesn't mean I don't understand, just means you're being dishonest without even saying, okay, yeah, I concede the Bible doesn't explain a globe model. It does, however, explain a flat enclosed earth.
So basically, I wanted everyone to notice that what Flatzoid is doing here is stacking the deck by changing definitions of terms to ensure that his view is, appears to be the winner. He is refusing the term Robothamism and claiming the term biblical cosmology. As I've shown many times, both of his claims there are false, and he has not addressed anything. All of the scholars that you cited, Flatzoid, they disagree with you just as much as with me. Okay? And God did not give Moses a cosmology. He gave him a historical narrative, which was not ontological. So, I mean, we could move on from the topic because we seem to be at a stalemate, but like, you're just changing definitions here.
Into the break. Good to see you. Good to see you haven't got a spanner. I'll give you one in a sec.
Okay, I'm just trying to get a okay, I can't seem to find that PDF, but it's fine. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna clearly state again, just saying nah, hand wave dismissing it doesn't mean I'm wrong. It just shows you don't want to accept the historical narrative. Note, guys, he just said historical narrative. That means God gave Moses the actual historical account of how Earth was created. So based on a biblical worldview, you either have to accept that's what God's made the Earth to be, a flat, enclosed, domed Earth, or you have to say, nah, I believe man over God and call God a liar. That's all I can say about this on biblical discussion. I would love to get on to the root meanings of words, because that would also show that it's depicting clearly a flat, enclosed, domed Earth and not a sphere. But it seems the biblical discussion we're supposed to have is now trying to get away from a biblical discussion, which I don't understand, because that's exactly what we were having, is a biblical discussion.
Like I said, it's up to you guys if you want to keep trying to explore, but yeah, if we get caught up on terms and we can't actually get into the meat of it, then it does become, like I say, a hard thing to push forward with. So yeah, and I did mean to be on mute earlier for the live chat. I'm just trying to not have this podcast completely riddled with me saying 1 minute, 2 minutes, but I'll do it if you want me to. All right. So yeah, maybe let's try to push into some new territory. Like I said, unless we know that we got something that we can dig into a little bit more deeper here.
Well,
Go ahead,
I did find it interesting in his email. He did say maps, and he said, if you're looking at the Gleason map, the sizes and things are distorted. I would say, yeah, what about you can show me one accurate 100% map for the globe? Even your Mercator map has distortion sizes and stuff. So it doesn't really matter what the distortions are, because every map has their own unique point of contention and what they are designed for. The Gleason's map is not a distance map; it's a time and sundial map, actually. So it's not made to say the distances and the sizes of continents. So that just was one thing that I found very interesting. Would Peter be able to show me any globe map that has all the continents 100% in correct configuration, as he puts it, I would say?
All right, 2 minutes on the floor. Over to you, Peter.
So the Mercator map is distorted because it's flat. By mathematical definition, you cannot show an undistorted flat map of a spherical surface without, I mean, it's not possible. It's what mathematicians call a non-developable surface. So all flat maps of a sphere are going to be distorted in some way. The only undistorted map you can make of the surface of a sphere is a sphere, and that's why schoolrooms have globes. If you look at a schoolroom globe, that's undistorted.
All right, I think he's handing the ball back, so go ahead, Flatzoid.
Okay, no, so you would understand that it's hypocritical to say, oh, Gleason's map, so therefore the continent doesn't look right. You would say that is then hypocritical because you don't have a map that shows it at all the same size either.
From the sounds of things, let's just try to do our open discussion because it sounds like we're getting wrapped up nice and succinctly. I think we've set a good tone, so let's try it, fellas. Open discussion.
Flatzoid, I just gave you a map. I just described one. A schoolroom globe.
Globe's not a map. By definition, it's
Yes,
not.
it is.
Go
Why
and
is
get
it
the
not?
definition. I had the same debate with FTFE, and while he was telling me it's wrong, we had the actual definition on screen saying there's a distinction between a map and a globe.
All right. Well, then basically you've rigged the question because you're saying, give me something that's not a sphere that doesn't distort a sphere.
No, my
It's
point
mathematically impossible.
Yeah, but that's my point. So I would say it's a mute argument to make a claim that, oh, Gleason map, Africa's distorted or whatever. I can say, well, every map on the globe is distorted too. So therefore, it's a mute argument.
Okay, let me share my screen. Give me one
I
second.
understand your reasoning. I'm saying then it's just a
Oh
mute
no, I
argument.
don't think you do understand my reasoning. I really
Yeah,
don't.
you guys are trying to take spherical objects and wrap it flat. That's your whole argument.
No,
All right, I'll give you a minute to do your screen share there.
All right.
There you go. Just let me know when you're ready. And I'll remind everybody as well, because looking at the audience here, we've got almost 700 people that are tuned in right now live. Welcome, everybody. We hope you hit the like button, share this out in those lovely spaces you like having these discussions. Looks like Peter's got his screen share ready, so let's get over here. And you're ready to go. 1 minute on the floor, Peter.
Okay, Flatzoid, can you tell me what this is?
The equidistant map.
Can you, there's more to it. Can you tell me what the orange blobs are?
That's where your sun is. I don't know. You tell me. You're the
No,
one presenting.
it's called Tisso's indicatrix. It shows mathematically exactly what the distortion is.
Mm-hmm.
The distortion exactly matches how this is projecting from a globe, a spherical globe surface to a flat map. Every flat map of the globe has a Tisso's indicatrix to show the math behind the distortion.
Mm-hmm.
It can be shown mathematically that they all correspond to the surface of a sphere.
And you can show me a map that doesn't have distortions?
If by map you mean a flat surface, then no, by definition, you cannot have. How are you acting like that's
my
winning
argument?
anything?
And that's my argument. As I said, it's a mute argument, because in the email with what you want to say, you say, oh, because the Gleason map, it's distorted. Great.
Yeah,
so
you don't have
an undistorted map. My point is, you don't have an undistorted map for the globe either.
No, you just chopped off half my point when you quoted that. No, it's not, because what I said was it's distorted according to spherical globe math. Exactly according to spherical globe math.
And
which mathematically shows that it comes from a sphere. If you measure the distortion on this map, it will match the distortion between this map and a sphere, which shows that the real life shape of your country is as it should be on a spherical globe.
Okay, and is there math for dark matter?
Total red herring fallacy.
No, I'm trying to make a point here. Is there math for red?
Then make your point. Don't make a red herring fallacy.
I was still talking. So there's math for dark matter. Does that make dark matter real?
That's the math of the globe can be measured using a vehicle, an automobile and its odometer, or it can be measured using, surveying equipment. There are all kinds of ways to measure the shape of your country. That's how they got these maps.
Yes, and
dark matter is a red herring fallacy.
No, I'm trying to make a point that you're saying because maths, therefore reality.
Good to see you, Jeremy Bard. Good to see you, Ian Hendry. I'm not talking much. It's just greeting people as they come in.
You're moving on to surveying, because that requires a flat earth.
No. Flatzoid, do you believe 1 + 1 = 2?
Yes, mathematically it does.
All right, thank you. So math can be valid sometimes. If you take one apple and you add one more apple, you have how many apples?
2 apples. And if I describe that apple as an orange, and it's not really orange in reality, does that make it an apple?
No, you're just arbitrarily
orange.
you're using math wrong in order to try to debunk math. That's
No,
not an
it's
argument.
very simple. Can you make an equation for unicorns to exist?
That's an incoherent question. I cannot
Okay,
answer.
let's say you made
I took my logo down so you can see the guys in the corner.
there has to be dark matter because it needs to exist, otherwise the rest of the models don't work. You would agree with that?
There is a specific set of observed evidence for and against dark matter.
Great.
That's why it's
But-
still hypothetical.
Okay, but my point
Because-
is there's math for it,
Yeah.
and that math describes dark matter as a real thing.
No, it analyzes dark matter as a hypothetical thing. Math does not.
Math is a description, it's a language, it just describes things. You can use math to
Yes.
describe anything. Doesn't mean what it's describing is reality. That's my point.
You can also use it to deduce things, as we just did with with 1 apple plus 1 apple equals how many apples. That's a deduction. Okay, it's a very, very basic, like first grade deduction, because we can't apparently get on to the deduction that when you measure the shape of South Africa using an odometer or surveying equipment or whatever you want to use, the shape differs from this azimuthal map by exactly the right math as you would expect from a spherical Earth.
And
you
that's my
cannot get
point.
around that.
And that's my point. No map, encoding the azimuthal, the equidistant map, everyone is distorted. Okay, that's my point. So it's a mute argument because the picture on the map doesn't fit the math in reality, doesn't make the
It
math
does fit the
wrong.
math. That's what I'm
Mm.
showing you. It does fit the
No.
math exactly. The math
Okay,
exactly describes how it will differ from reality.
Okay. Now, can we please move on to the measurements? Because you says it's measured using surveying.
Well,
Do you know how surveying works?
I'm not a surveyor. If I, if we were going to go into that subject, I would rather have what's his name, Baron, on here with me from TikTok. But I can't,
I can tell you it's done with planar surveying and it's required to have a horizontal reference datum. So therefore, using a flat earth to make your measurements.
Based on the conversation we just had about the math of Tissot's indicatrix and measuring the shape of your country, I am pretty sure that what you just said is wrong.
Nope. Definitely
but
based on a flat earth horizontal datum.
It's probably not.
Sorry, you just said you know nothing about
I didn't
surveying,
say I
and
know
you want
nothing.
to tell me, the guy that's telling you how it works, I'm wrong.
Well, you've shown a lot of ignorance so far. And
I haven't shown
think-
any ignorance.
Oh, yes, you have.
You've shown hand wave dismissal. You've shown still pushing things on me after I said, please don't push it on me. You've just shown you
don't get a
ignore the
choice
things
about
I'm bringing to you. You don't understand the things you bring up like surveying, and then you want to tell me I'm wrong. So I'm going to again.
I
based on
admitted.
Wow, we can talk about ignorance, huh? Wow, I had to say that. That's just so ironic.
Flat earth measurements.
And a projection, obviously.
Literally horizontal datums.
It approximates a flat Earth if you only measure locally within a certain distance, because that's how math works. That's
And
how
how far-
reality and geometry works.
And how far is a local distance in planar surveying?
It completely depends on the precision required. So if you're trying to, and this is something another surveyor told me when I was live on TikTok recently. If you're pouring concrete for an entire warehouse, like like you're going to build a new Walmart or a new, something, and you need, dozens of acres of space, and you want that concrete foundation to be level, then that's big enough. You actually do need to account for the curvature of the Earth.
You use a water level. There's no account for earth curve.
That's false. A surveyor told me otherwise. And here's the thing: you're not a surveyor. I'm not a surveyor. I admit my ignorance. You don't.
Planar surveying goes up to 150 miles before geodetic surveying starts coming. I've actually debated surveyors on the subject. So I find it very ironic that you're trying to tell me I don't know about the subject when you, in fact, don't even know what a reference datum for planar surveying is. Now I'm going to ask you again, what is the measurements they make when they do the planar surveying? Do they measure curve?
No, I don't want to go into this subject. I told you that I'm not an expert on this. I
Well, then
don't think
tell
you
me
are
I
either.
don't know what. Then don't tell me I don't know what's going on if you don't know.
All right.
I'm
So
literally telling you.
I'm just going to jump in here. So if this is not an avenue that you would like to go down into, that's totally fine, Peter. But if you want to move into a new territory, that's totally
Sorry,
cool. So I can
sorry,
see
Ryan.
that.
I just have to say you don't have to white knight for him, and he's a big man.
Well, what was I doing for you earlier then? No, I'm just
No, it
picking
wasn't
on
white
this.
knighting for me.
All right, no, it's
I
fine.
can hold my own.
But I want to give you both a chance, of course, to present your cases here. So, Peter, if you did have a new territory that we haven't explored yet to go into, we
How
can move
about
in.
my number 3 challenge that Flatzoid hasn't even touched yet?
What was it again?
My own personal observation of sunset, combined with time zones that equals a globe.
First, you have to prove that it has to prove it to go. You're making the burden there. So I don't know what I have to rebut about it. Is it because you
Sorry,
said
what?
if the sun's always up in the one, it's going to be based on perspective, has to be down on by someone else?
So you didn't hear or understand my argument?
I'm trying to figure out, you gave 3 different arguments. So I'm just trying to find, is that the one where you say because on a flat earth, the sun's always supposed to be in the sky, but also below at the same time?
That is related. That's a quote from when I
Okay.
made that argument.
Okay,
Yes.
then I'm going to tell you, did you take refraction into account?
No, because it's not necessary.
So when we look through the atmos, do we have refraction?
On some level, yes.
There's always refraction present, correct? Because light's always traveling through the atmos.
On some level, yes.
Right. So would that change the position of the sun?
Only by about 1 degree.
Can you
Or-
prove that claim only by 1 degree?
I mean, your claim, what exactly is your claim? Like that the sunset is going to differ from the arctangent function I described by
because that
more than
doesn't
1
take
degree?
because it doesn't take any optical phenomena into account. It's what we would call Muppet vision. It's orthographical view you're trying to place there. Orthographical view doesn't take optical phenomena into account, only angular size change.
You're using all kinds of terms incorrectly. Orthographic is actually opposed to perspective, and we are in a perspective view when we use a camera. So that's not correct. It does neglect atmospheric refraction for the specific reason that we know atmospheric refraction was negligible for the experiment.
Okay, so you're saying orthographic view is not perspective based, like I said.
That's correct. Orthographic means
I'm
not
correct, then.
perspective.
Then why are you saying I'm wrong and then literally saying the same thing I said?
I'm not saying the same thing you said.
You did. I just said orthographic view is not perspective based.
No,
and
you
I'm
said-
wrong.
I don't think that's what you said, but maybe
That's
I
what I
misheard.
said. But I'm going to say again, yeah, I'm glad you understand orthographic view is not perspective based. So therefore, you can't use orthographic view to claim perspective.
Okay, yeah. So you said I was using orthographic view. I'm not. That's not correct.
The arctangent is orthographic, is it not?
No,
It's a triangle based on side view.
it's a
Can you
cross
bring it up on
section.
screen? Can you bring it up on screen for everybody and show
Yes.
us where perspective is there, please?
Excellent. So I just closed the poll. So while you get your screen share up and running there, here, I'll just transfer that over. I'll get us off the screen so everybody can see it. I just closed our poll, so I'll give you the stats here. So we had 607 votes. If we can get that many likes, that's going to be awesome for the stream, boost us up. So if you haven't already, hit the like button, smack it around. It doesn't hurt it at all, trust me. So 57% of our live chat have voted for globe, 25% for flat, and then 16% for the trollers have said a loaf of bread. So that is where we're standing right now. We'll do another poll
right.
similar to that before the end, but let's carry on, gents. Let's carry on. Yeah.
Awesome. So you would understand this is based on orthographic.
All right. Yes. Maybe I misunderstood what your point is saying. This is an orthographic view. Yes.
Great. So there's no perspective taken into account here.
No, this is an orthographic view of perspective. You see the little stick man? This is describing his perspective.
Yeah, like I say, it's not perspective based. Can you show me convergence in that orthographic view?
Yeah, it's this the limit of this function right here, the arctangent function, as this sun would recede, the angle that is seen by the stick man between the horizon and the sun would approach 0 as
But
the
that-
sun continued to recede farther and farther away.
Okay, so the angle's getting smaller as it gets further away. That's what you're saying.
Yes, that's how convergence or vanishing point works, and that's exactly what I demonstrated in this.
Okay. Okay, can you show me the ground rising up to meet on that, please?
The ground does not rise up to meet anything.
that's
I don't
not
know what you mean by
convergent.
that.
Then it's not convergence because the ground is supposed to
No,
rise
that's just
relative-
because you're misusing terms and you're like,
No. Perspective is very simple. Everything below your eye line rises up relative to meet to the convergence point, and everything above dips
you're just
below, goes
regurgitating your
into the-
script. That's not how
No.
perspective works.
Dude, I literally majored in art. I studied art. Perspective. Everything has a convergence line.
It's
So
math.
everything above.
If you didn't
everything-
study the math behind this, then your
everything-
art is
every-
worthless.
Everything above your eye line converges down relative to eye level. Everything below rises up relative to that convergence zone. Can you show me this convergence in your orthographic view, please?
What you're describing is the point where the angle observed by the stick figure here would cross the eye level horizontal line. So, if you're drawing a line, here's the red line and then the green line and the blue line, they're progressively getting closer to horizontal to eye level. And if you pass that threshold, then because rays of perspective diverge from the viewer, that line will eventually reach the ground because it's now pointed slightly.
Good to see Dylan. Good to see you, Dylan, man.
haven't seen him for a while.
Nah.
Same line.
They're on this dotted line, yeah.
Are they appearing to drop to the convergence of eye line?
Yeah, because that the vertical
Okay.
position in an image that this guy might take in a camera, that's dictated by the angle he perceives here. So this alpha angle right here, it's decreasing, meaning getting lower in his camera's view or his eye's view.
Good to see you, Jeff. I'm not talking much. I'm just letting it play so you can hear what's going on. Just saying hello to people coming in.
It's depicted in his view.
No, it's only changing angular size. It's not converging anywhere. That's my whole point. You're not actually having perspective based in this arctangent. You can try and
Correct.
call it perspective convergence just because the angular size is changing. That doesn't make it perspective. It's not convergence.
Then you just don't understand.
Don't understand is not a rebuttal. It's just you then hand wave dismissing that what you're claiming is convergence.
You're
It's
the
not
one hand
convergence.
waving dismissing.
No, I'm telling you, I'm asking you, show me where the convergence is. I'm telling you it's not. You're
That's
showing
not a
the ground.
requirement for
You're not-
demonstrating perspective.
Always in perspective, you require the ground to rise relative to eye level.
That's just your
Any convergence,
script.
everything
That's
above.
not perspective.
This is literally perspective. It has a convergence point. Everything above eye line, everything below eye line always converges to a convergence point. That's perspective. What you're showing now and calling it perspective is not. So it's a category error. You're claiming to make something perspective, which isn't.
No,
This
it's
is
a
what you're showing
category error
now.
according to your nonsense script that defines the categories according
What
to your liking.
script? What script?
It's
Tell me, where's my
almost
script?
verbatim the same from one robothemist to another.
I'm not a
including you.
robothemist.
Yes, you
and
are.
No, I'm not.
A-
Can I call
a
you a Satanist
zetetic-
then? Can I call you a Satanist?
Only if you define what you mean by that.
Because you believe in a heliocentric model. It's literally Helios worship.
All right. Well,
Can I
I think
call you he-
I think I showed stronger logic to call you a robothemist than you've shown to call me a Satanist.
While your globe requires a whole bunch of 666s to work, it requires Helios
That's
Satanistic
nonsense.
globe worship. So it's more on the lines of Satanistic. So do you think that's fair of me to call you a Satanist because you believe in a
No.
heliocentric model?
Listen, I described a concept to you, and then I offered to use different terms if there's a term that offends you. So if you understand the concept I described, then maybe you tell me what word I should use for it. because biblical cosmology is not good enough.
I thought we are going to have a biblical cosmology debate because we're both Christians and we were looking at the Bible based
Yeah,
on how
and I'm
God
telling you, your
created the
cosmology is not
You would
biblical.
no, my cosmology is everything biblical. You
No.
haven't shown one scripture that says it's not.
Straw man again. I don't have to show
Show me a scripture. Show me a scripture that says the firmament's not a physical dome, please.
straw man again. I don't have
Show
to
me.
show
Show me a
any.
scripture. No, show me a scripture where the sun was created for an Earth rotating, please.
Good to see you, Chilling.
That.
Yes, you do, because this is supposed to be a biblical debate.
You're the
You
one
haven't-
calling your cosmology biblical. That means
It
it's
is,
your
based
burden
on
to show
biblical.
that it's biblical, not mine to show that it's not.
Do you guys want to sit here for 3 hours so I can read you Bible scriptures, or are you going to?
I just
actually
want you
go
to show
and
me
back up
one.
your claim?
One verse that shows
Genesis
your
1.
view
Genesis
is
1.
That's not good enough because it doesn't describe a robothemist sun.
Joshua 10.
Not good enough. It doesn't describe a robothemist sun.
I don't care about Robotham. Stop bringing Robotham into this.
Then
Robotham has got
tell me
nothing
what
to
word
do
I should
with
use.
biblical Hebrew cosmology.
No, wrong. Tell me a different word I should
show me
use.
where Robotham. Show me Robotham's in the Bible, please.
What the freak?
I say I
Why
have
would
nothing
I
to do with Robotham. I am talking Hebrew cosmology. the
You're
biblical
not getting your
cosmology.
cosmology from the Bible. That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling everyone. Your cosmology is not in the Bible. It's from Samuel Robotham. Historically,
Paul H. Seeley says you're wrong. Don H. Walton says you're wrong. Peter N. says you're wrong. Michael Hauser
No.
says you're wrong. Hector Avalo says you're wrong. Richard Carrier says you're wrong.
No,
Christopher Hickett says you're wrong. Michael Sherman
every
says you're
one
wrong.
of those people would agree with what I'm saying right now. That your
They
cosmology
all
is not
literally
biblical.
They literally wrote books on the subject
Yeah,
saying
you
the
see
Bible
the
describes
phrase flat
the
Earth,
Hebrew
and
Why
in
is he
your
talking
mind
over
it just completely attaches to your view. That's not correct. I showed.
Every
Good to see you, Barry.
wrote books on the subject stating the Bible depicts a flat Earth Hebrew cosmology. You trying to go to Robotham that I said I don't even ascribe to, that's got nothing to do with what I'm talking about, and pushing it into there shows you don't have any argument. So are you going to go and tell me all
You not
those
understanding my
scholars are
argument
wrong?
does not mean I
Is
don't
Michael
have an
Hauser
argument.
wrong? Is Michael Hauser wrong?
I believe he is, but he would also say you're wrong.
Is Peter Enns wrong?
I would believe he is, but he would also say you're wrong.
Michael Hauser, in his book, The Unseen Realm, Isaac discusses the ancient Israelite worldview, including their cosmology. He highlights that the descriptions in the Bibles are consistent with three-tiered universe, which includes a flat Earth.
There
a
you go
solid
again.
firmament,
Assuming flat Earth means
and
you've won the
an
argument.
underworld. Peter Enns,
See you, Tony.
in the various writings, he also touched upon the ancient Hebrew cosmological views. He points out that the biblical descriptions of the world, such as the pillars of the earth and the foundations of the heavens, suggest a flat earth model consistent with other ancient Near Eastern cosmologies.
You're making
And
my
I
point
must
for me
read-
here.
Must I read? Yeah, my point is, you saying everybody's wrong. The Bible does depict a
They
flat
would all say that you're wrong. And you are making my point for me when you say that they're comparing it to ancient Near East cosmology. I
Is the-
showed you how ancient
me-
Near East cosmology differs from yours.
Do you understand? You just told me the Bible doesn't depict a flat earth. That's what you're claiming.
Yes, that's what I'm claiming.
And I gave you 8 different scholars, 4 atheists, 4 Christians, that all tell you you are wrong.
They would
And
also
I
say
say-
you're wrong.
They wrote books stating the exact claim we just said. The Bible describes a flat earth.
Okay. Flatzoid. Where do you think the sun goes at night?
Away from you. So again,
That's robothemist.
no.
If you
let's
don't
finish
like the
statement.
term,
no, let's
If
finish.
you don't like
I
the term,
don't care
give me a
about
different
Robotham.
term to use.
This is dishonesty. I don't care about Robotham. I'm talking about Hebrew
How?
cosmology. okay?
What is dishonest
You-
about what I'm saying?
You pushing someone I am not ascribed to. You
I
telling
said,
me
if
I
you don't like
ascribe
the
to
term,
someone,
tell
I
me a different
specifically
term.
telling you I don't
See
ascribe
you,
to.
Georgia.
I'm telling you I don't
Forget
give a
about
shit
Robotham.
about
I don't
Robotham.
care. I don't
Then
care
stop
about
bringing him
Robotham.
up. I don't even
I
want
asked
to use
you.
the sun.
I
Okay,
asked
you know
you,
what?
where
got a
does the
better
sun
idea.
go?
Ryan, I've got a better idea. Let's stop talking about the sun then. Let's talk about other aspects of the planet. How about the firmament?
All right, let's move into some new territory. I was letting you guys
Yeah.
have a little natural engagement there, and I think everybody was enjoying. But yeah, let's try to focus and reel it in a little bit here. And
Yeah, can we
so
move
you
to
want
the
to talk about the
firmament then?
firmament? So go ahead
Yeah.
there, Peter.
I mean, the word firmament is a mistranslation. It's actually the best translation is expanse. The word firmament comes from actually pagan cosmology.
Yep.
Ultimately, it comes from Greek because it comes from the Latin Vulgate, firmamentum, which was influenced by the Greek Septuagint saying stereoma. Stereoma was, they believed, a literal sphere around the earth. So like, and they also, this is where we get the term helio for the sun as well. So if you are gonna try to ascribe to the translation firmament and also say that heliocentrism is satanic, then that means your translation of rachia is also satanic.
Okay, great. First of all, everything you just said there was wrong. The root word is raka, to beat out solid. Rakia comes from the root word raka. Stereoma comes Greek after the Hebrew and Aramaic. So I just had to correct you there. And no, it means solid expanse.
That wasn't a correction. That was just a misunderstanding of what I said.
The vault of heaven supporting the waters above. So can you show me any instance where rakia, which is the original word used in the Torah, for the firmament that is not a solid expanse, please?
That's I don't have that ready.
Because it doesn't exist.
I believe there are, but I don't have that ready.
It doesn't exist. Even stereoma, the expanse derived from rakia, which means solid.
But yeah, but that was.
Or how about we can use some more scripture when we look at when God separated the waters from the waters? It says he used a solid firmament to do this. How would that work on your globe?
It might be referring to clouds.
No, solid. Is a cloud solid?
That does not actually mean solid. Just because the word
solid.
raka is sometimes used to like with a transitive object of something solid doesn't mean that it's always that way.
Always. Raka is to beat out something solid. Rakia derived from raka is a solid firmament expanse, the vault supporting the waters above. Then you get stereoma, which is the expanse based on the solid rakia.
Yeah, stereoma comes from pagan theology or pagan cosmology,
Which
though.
comes after the Aramaic and Hebrew.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's correct.
So great. So why do we have to worry about something that comes after the original text?
Because the only foot you have to stand on is this Hebrew word, rachia, and it does not mean what you think it means. Just because this definition says solid in parentheses, or that in subsense 2 it says vault supporting waters above, does not mean. Okay, do you even believe it? That's not even, you just highlighted the word flat, but that's not even applicable in your cosmology. Do you believe the dome is flat? That doesn't make sense.
The flat as base. The base, the support is flat. The firmament has.
That's not what that's saying. That's saying that the expanse is flat.
The base, yeah.
No, not the base. The expanse itself.
Base.
You're just misreading the definition.
I'm going to bring another one up for him because he doesn't seem to understand how words work.
Ad hominem.
We'll say based on the firmament, it can't work with a globe. Correct?
Sorry, what?
So we'll say based on the firmament, it's not globe based. You'd agree with me?
No. What? I don't understand what you're saying.
If we have to take the firmament argument biblically, does it explain a globe or a flat earth?
It doesn't endorse either.
Of course it explains the Hebrew cosmology, the flat. I got another one up. Reflection of Jacob Praal. Catellas, who's the first, and this is going to be explaining how it is, and this is that model you said is wrong. This is exactly what the Bible explains. You see that flat base there, the foundations of heavens, that's where it touches. There's your clouds, by the way. Do you understand the Bible has 3 heavens?
This is all an interpretation of biblical cosmology that not only takes from the Book of Enoch, which I reject, but also
this is taken only from
oh no, it's
Genesis.
not. Oh no,
this is taken from Genesis, and okay, it takes through the whole Bible, but you don't need the Book of Enoch for this.
You
don't
kind
need
of
to
do.
touch Enoch.
The
You don't
Bible
need to
doesn't
touch
go into
Enoch.
that much detail.
Oh, really? Which over here would you like me to get you the scripture for? Windows of heaven, Noah's flood. What else? Foundations, pillars.
Those are
Sheol.
just phrases. They're describing an event of rain. It doesn't mean that there are literal windows or doors in heaven.
Literally, it says with Noah's flood, God opened the windows of heaven.
Yeah, it also says that swords have lips. Okay. Do you think the swords literally had
the
mouths
argument
that
you just
open?
gave? The argument you just gave is the Bible doesn't describe these things. You need the Book of Enoch. I said you don't need the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch just goes into more detail, but the Bible does describe this exact Hebrew cosmology we see in front of
No,
you.
most I think at least half of that detail comes from the Book of Enoch and other ancient Near East cosmologies.
Which ones? Which half of them are there? Which ones don't you think is in the Bible?
Well, for one thing, the windows and doors of heaven that
Okay, I'll quickly get it for you. Windows and doors of heaven.
It's just a phrase used. It does not describe what they are or that they are literal.
Windows of heaven. I'm going to quickly get it for you. Anything else? Genesis 7:11.
While you bring that up, I'm just going to close out our little extra poll here, and I'm going to put up another one more related to the debate. So just a reminder, everybody, once again, while we're live, if you hit that like button, it really helps us out in the algorithm. We super appreciate everybody who supports the channel. We will move into Q&A shortly at the discretion of our speakers here. So as many avenues as you guys would like to go down, and then when you feel like you're ready for Q&A, just let me know. And yeah, whenever you're ready, Flatzoid, it looks like you're bringing something
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm just going to give this up, and then we can go to Q&A. It's fine with me.
Oh. I would be a little bit. I wanted to pursue the sunset thing a little more.
If that's all right by you, Flatzoid, we can definitely.
I think the sun's a mute argument because I'm going to say the sun is the whole time, and he's going to tell me, and he doesn't get. He's just trying to tell me what I'm supposed to say the sun is. So I don't really think that it's going to get anywhere anyway.
You were just denying math.
No, I didn't. Okay, so anyway, remember you just made a claim that the Bible doesn't talk about the windows of heaven. Genesis 7 verse 11. In the 600th year of Noah's life, the second month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all 4 fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. Is this based on a historical?
Yes,
narrative?
it's literal history.
Literal. Windows of heaven broken up.
I said literal history, not a literal phrase.
Okay, but does this explain the windows of heaven that you said were not in the Bible?
No, not to the degree that Enoch does.
Enoch, we don't even have to look at Enoch. You told me straight.
You do if you want to build that diagram.
No.
Yes.
Windows of heaven were opened up. There we go.
Every single one of those scholars that
you know what heaven is in Genesis?
It's equated with the Rakia.
The vault of heaven. Yeah, there's 3 heavens. The one you opened up, vault of heaven. So therefore, depicted in Genesis.
You're just adding details now.
No.
Yes.
I'm giving you the actual scriptures which you say don't exist.
Actual scriptures that you just, eisegeted.
So are you going to explain to me how I'm wrong, that everything I'm showing you actual scripture based?
It's just not there. You tried to show evidence.
It's written in black and white.
You found it. You found the phrase "windows of heaven." Okay, good job. That doesn't make your argument.
It does make my argument.
No, it doesn't.
You said it doesn't. You said it's not there.
The phrase is there. The description of what the phrase means is not. That comes from the book of Enoch in order to build the diagram. That
Enoch,
you
you do not need Enoch for
Yes,
that
you do. If you
description.
want to build the
I wish-
diagram, you need Enoch.
Okay, bring another thing on the Hebrew cosmology that I need Enoch for, that I can bring you scripture up as well.
Well, I don't have the diagram right in front of me. Hold on.
So it's just hand wave dismiss.
No,
Look for
that's
windows,
not just
guys.
hand wave dismiss.
Aruba. Okay, that's for the windows. Lattice, window, sluice, chimney. That's opening where the smoke.
Yeah, nobody's
is, okay?
disputing what the word means
Mm.
translationally. We're disputing what it means cosmologically. Okay, it's not referring to a literal window. It's just referring to an event of rain.
All right. Seems like we've hit a wall on that one there. So, yeah, if you feel like the conversation regarding the sun there would be a waste of time, we can move into Q&A. Seems like Flatzoid's not
Yeah.
consenting to go into that conversation, so we'll respect that and get into Q&A. So, thank you, Peter and Flatzoid, for. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, can you maybe you have 1 minute each clothing statements before we get on to Q&A? Is that fine?
Well, I mean, usually I do closing statements after Q&A.
Oh, okay, no, then it's fine. No, that's
Yeah,
fine.
just because there's new things that are going to come up. Sometimes we get into back and forths during the Q&A. So if you have a question
It's
for
just
either of our
guys that see
speakers,
mine.
now is the time to get it in, and they will answer your questions and inquiries in the chat. So I see first here, hey, could put $1.99 into a super chat, but I had no question. But it's good to see you in the chat there, Hake. Haven't had you on the channel in a while, so maybe if you want to send me an email, we'll get you on for some of the topics that are going on in the stage right now, the world stage. So I think it'd be fun. LJ coming in says, if it's a globe, why does half the Earth stay lit?
Who's that
Is
for?
that a question for me?
It would be, yes.
I don't understand the question. Why wouldn't half the Earth be lit if it were a globe? It's just that the sun is shining on, and that's on one side, and that's how it works with a sphere
Yeah,
with a light
and
on
it's
one side.
and it's at a tilt, so it's actually doesn't.
So
Yeah, I don't
you
know what
tilt
you
a
said.
sphere, there's still
Yeah.
sphere there. It's still gonna
that's what I
light
said.
half.
Yeah, that's what I said. I don't understand that argument either. So
All right, maybe if you want to clarify in the live chat there, LJ, let's move into the next one. And thank you so much, everybody who has put in a super chat so far. We appreciate it. Everybody who's hit the like. I think we're having a lot of fun with this stream. So let's keep going. Roger Ledwell, demo gravity in real time, please, in a lab. That adds that extra part at the end there. Demo gravity in real time, please, in a lab.
I mean, if you want a Cavendish experiment, I don't have one built. But yeah, as I said before, gravity is a red herring on the topic of the shape of the Earth.
Hey, Rocco.
Any
I do
thoughts?
have something to say, but I'd rather not say anything.
Are you sure?
Because then we're getting into debate about gravity. That's acceleration, not gravity. Just to let you know.
Acceleration due to gravity.
He's asking you to prove gravity, not acceleration. There's a difference.
Well, gravity is what we call the downward acceleration that all mass feels on the surface of the Earth.
And you see, that's where the contention is. You first have to prove it is the cause. You can't just claim it is the cause. That's what he's trying to say.
There is a downward acceleration that all
agree.
objects feel, and it's the same acceleration on the surface of the Earth within a certain percentage all over the Earth, and it can be isolated from all other forces, including electrostatics, which is not really a force per se. It's a field of study. There's gravity is just originally when Galileo and Newton started studying it, it was just the term they used to describe that force that they were studying.
Yeah, that's
So
what I
are
said.
we arguing?
That's what I said. We can get into a whole argument on gravity alone. But I mean, just to rebut what you just said, gravity is not a force, so you can't claim it to be a force. And no, by claiming
It
the
is a
acceleration
force.
is due to gravity, you first have to prove the ontological argument that gravity exists to make that claim. Yes, we accelerate, we see things accelerate. The claim that it is due to gravity is the unfounded possibility that you can't prove. And no, you can't isolate gravity because you've never been able to manipulate gravity.
You can isolate the downward force that things feel.
How?
Well, by checking off the boxes of all the other forces you know. Okay, nothing's pushing it down. Nothing is, magnetically attracting it down. If it's like paper or wood that's not magnetically attractive, what other forces could it be if you just let something go and it falls? It's something else besides all of those. And originally, scientists chose to call it gravity. Theories around gravity continue to develop from there because it's like, okay, there's this force. What is it? Let's explore it more. And yeah, eventually Einstein overturned a lot of what we thought we knew about it. But that doesn't mean that the original observations were wrong or that the original theories were not useful.
No, that's what I say. I can't manipulate gravity to claim it's gravity.
It's the force that things fall down. If you have a different word for that, that's fine. But you can't say it's like electromagnetics or something.
It's just displacement due to relative density disequilibrium. But that's my take on it.
Okay,
We can
that's a
actually
lot of
debate
word
that
salad.
sometime. We can actually debate that sometime if you want to. I think it'll be great.
I don't really.
Oh, okay. We can move to the next question here. But yeah, I don't mind. Like I said, you guys are welcome to stew and unpack all you'd like. Use these questions as a launch pad to explore new avenues. And sure, if there's other debate topics that come up that you're like, there's so much there, I'd love to unpack more, then, if Peter doesn't want to do that one, then, there might be other people that will, and vice versa. So, let's keep going through and see what you guys think in the live chat. So keep the questions coming in, everybody. We appreciate that. Jova Shade says, if the Earth truly is flat, A, what would be the benefit of knowing it compared to not? B, what would be the benefit of concealing the knowledge?
Okay. For A, I would say it because it tells you God, it keeps it God's character because he created us to have a personal relationship with him. He's close to us and he gives us a purpose. He created us in a very certain environment to be able to have that relationship with him. B, I can't divine anyone's motives, but I could tell you that if you understand biblically that the rulers of this world are dark and spiritual powers, it's not actually man. There's reasons, because if you understand Satan is a perversion of everything that's good of God, he's going to do everything against God. And therefore, his motivation is, hey, God didn't create you for purpose. He didn't create you to be close to you. Let me create you for an infinite speck of nothing with no purpose, with an ever expanding universe, showing God just moves further and further away from you. That's all I can say.
Flatzoid, I expect you're aware in Psalm 8 it says, what is man that you are mindful of him, and the son of man that you care for him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think that means?
Do you have to care for him? Yeah.
There's more to it. You can do it. Let me pull up the verse here. Is that really all you got?
I understand I understand what you're trying to say. You're trying to show, yeah.
Okay, in the beginning of Psalm 8, it says, how majestic is your name in all the earth. You have set your glory above the heavens. When I look at your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars, which you have set in place, what is man that you are mindful of him? So
Mhm.
David is looking up at the stars, and it's making him wonder, where is man's place in this giant universe?
The planet's not small, by the way, just to let you know.
Okay, but it's too small.
No, it's not too small. I think it's people that's too claustrophobic or something.
Well, I mean,
Remember, God is on the vault. He's in a different heaven. He's on above the heavens.
the
That's
thing is,
why- That's why when people, but we see, that's why I say when people say, "Oh, how high is the dome?" That's true. And I said, "Who knows? I don't know. It could be hundreds of thousands kilometers up. Who knows? No, we don't know." But
I try to
the
cut.
thing is, when you look at God's character and you look at what was asked, God's character, you would agree, is he created you to be an image bearer of God, to be close to you, to spend time with him, to be in a relationship with you. The heliocentric model teaches total opposite of that.
Wrong.
It does.
No, secular, like atheism, teaches you that. The heliocentric model does not teach that.
Okay. Does the heliocentric model say that the universe is expanding constantly?
I mean, here I have to actually distinguish because the word heliocentric refers to a cosmological model that is now superseded and had long been superseded before the expansion of the universe was discovered. So technically, the answer would be no. The heliocentric model does not show that. But yes, the universe is expanding according to modern science.
So then God would be moving further away from you because
God isn't in a physical location in the universe. That's
he's
ridiculous.
omnipresent. But the Bible does say he walks on the vault of heaven, so a physical place. And the Bible also says
That's poetry.
he's sitting at the right hand of God. So you think God's not physical? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, God is spirit, as Jesus said in
So supernatural can't be physical.
it can. Jesus incarnated as, the Son of Mary. That's when God became physical. Or on the Mount Sinai, when God came down in fire and brimstone on the mountain, that's God became physical to some degree there.
Yeah.
But God is not walking with literal feet on a literal vault of heaven. That's nonsense.
In Genesis, God walked in the garden with Adam and Eve.
Yes, I believe his physical presence was there in some way.
And he walked, yeah, as the
Yeah.
Bible says,
Yeah.
physically.
Do you think God the
You think
Father
God's not
is
a physical being? You think God's not a physical being just because he's omnipresent?
I'm saying that he is not bound to a physical nature.
Yeah, he's supernatural,
is-
obviously. Yeah,
It-
we can agree with that. He's not bound to physicality. He's not bound to nature. But my point is, God is in a physical place, even if he's omnipresent. He's still physically somewhere. And according to the globe, he's moving away with that ever-expanding universe. So it's getting further.
That's just a straw man.
That's what it is.
No, it's just a straw man.
Okay, if you say so.
Did
Yeah,
somebody
I do.
specify
Next one's coming in from LJ. LJ asks, why doesn't Earth spin under a hovering helicopter?
I assume that would be for me.
Yes, LJ is usually in the live chat asking questions, even when we're having debates on other topics related to the flat versus globe discussion. So, LJ, we always
yeah.
appreciate you in the live chat. Even LJ's dog knows. We know. we'll hear about this eventually, I'm sure. Why doesn't Earth spin under a hovering helicopter? From LJ.
Yeah, so I do want to reiterate that is a red herring on the topic of the shape of the Earth. So you can basically nitpick and cherry pick and complain and flounder all you want at modern science, but that doesn't form a legitimate argument against the Earth being a globe. As for the actual question, it's because the atmosphere is moving with the Earth. I heard someone describe it once as like if when you pour a smoothie in a blender, or you pour ingredients in a blender and you start the blades spinning, the blades are only, at the very bottom of the blender, but after a few minutes of them spinning, the whole, container of fluid will start spinning with it. It's the same with the atmosphere. The Earth is spinning, and because, it's been doing that for as long as we know, the atmosphere spins with it, just like the fluid in the blender spins with the blades. It's just simply false that the helicopter would suddenly magically lose all of its momentum sideways as soon as the feet leave the ground. Like that's nonsense.
Any thoughts on the other side, or you want to carry on?
Yeah, there's so much wrong with that. First of all, yeah. First of all, gas is not a liquid. It's based on fluids, but it has different properties than a liquid or a solid. So no, it has different behaviors. It's not bonded in a sense like a liquid in a blender. They still have bonds, so they would bond and move together.
Fluid dynamics still apply.
Yeah, they have fluid dynamics, but it's
Yeah.
not bond in a sense like liquid. Okay, they still have different properties. So gas is moving all directions constantly. They can only change direction with a collision. Okay, if you're claiming the Earth is moving now, yeah, I agree. It doesn't make it a heliocentric or not. It just means not a moving globe. That's all. Not a globe at all. If you're claiming the air is moving with as like velcroed to the ground, then you can't claim to have Coriolis
It's not Velcro.
deviation.
No.
Yeah, well, you're
That's
claiming
nonsense.
it's moving with it. You're claiming it's moving with it. So that's
Yes, by fluid dynamics and friction, not Velcro. That's a completely nonsensical straw man.
gas. Gas doesn't stop moving or be pulled to other direction. It can only change
It
direction.
has friction and it does experience fluid dynamics.
Again,
You're
gas.
just obfuscating.
Gas moves in all directions constantly. It can only change
On a
direction.
molecular level.
If a force is applied to it, or if it has a collision, that is it. Gas
You're-
never stops moving.
You're
Now,
describing on a
the fact-
molecular level.
no, the
Overall, it
fact we-
doesn't necessarily do
the
that.
fact we have wind going in different directions shows this to be wrong as well, by the way, because it's
No.
just low to high pressure systems moving. This is called storms and jet streams and stuff. But yeah, the fact his argument is because we don't see helicopters hovering and you claiming the air is, sorry to say, velcroed to it because you say it's moving together, we don't observe.
Sorry to
Coriolis.
straw man.
Yeah, I'm just trying to say, I just have to. And because it's saying that, it means that you don't observe Coriolis effect, so therefore you can't claim Earth is rotating.
That's a complete straw man of the Coriolis effect, though. That's just not how it would work at all. In order to observe the Coriolis effect, you need something moving sideways in relation to the ground, not in relation to the axis of the Earth, because
They
yes,
must be
the whole
moving in a
system
linear
is
fashion. Must be moving in a
in
linear
relation to the ground.
fashion.
So in order, yes, the according to modern science, the entire system of a local region of Earth's surface is moving sideways in relation to the axis of the Earth, the North Pole or the South Pole. But in relation to that ground, the helicopter is not moving.
Yeah, so we don't observe a Coriolis effect. That's what he's saying.
That's not what the Coriolis effect would do. The
Okay, let's say
Coriolis
the
effect does
helicopter's
not
flying. Let's
apply
say
to
the
that.
helicopter. Let's say the helicopter is flying linearly. Will you observe this Coriolis effect?
If you somehow were able to measure at that minute level, yeah. We're talking about like less than 0.3 centimeters per second, I think, if I recall the number correctly. Which
Yeah,
means that
it's
the
like
pilot
saying-
would not notice as he's correcting for that while navigating based on the geography and the land features he's flying over.
Yeah, they don't correct for. That's the whole point.
Because they wouldn't notice. It's too small.
Yeah, so we don't observe it. That's his point. We don't observe it. It's too small to observe.
Don't observe. You just picked one scenario where it should not be observed and say, oh, we don't observe it there, therefore it's debunked. No.
Okay,
wrong.
we can do another one. Do we see planes fly backwards?
That's also wrong. Like, why would that debunk Coriolis effect?
Because the Earth rotates and it would be rotating faster than the plane.
All right, again, nonsense.
And the
straw
plane
man.
is powered flight. The plane is powered flight. So if it's going against the momentum, it would cancel that momentum out because that's how you cancel out. You need force. And because the plane is having a forced momentum opposite to the direction of the momentum, if it doesn't have enough momentum, it would either fly backwards or it will cancel and go faster in one direction.
That's
This
just nonsense.
this can be this can be counted if we take I think it's a flight from Charlotte, Carolina to New York or something where it's supposed to take 4 hours to fly, but only takes an hour, something like that.
What do you mean supposed to take 4 hours to fly?
According to your rotation of Coriolis.
According to your straw man of Coriolis.
Nope,
Yes.
according to the map.
Yes. You're
According to
just
the map.
All right, I think we I was gonna say I think we got another one coming in here from LJ. So
Oh, boy.
I'm gonna stir the pot a little bit more here. So thank you, LJ, so much. He asks why space travel keep getting delayed. Why does space travel keep getting delayed for decades now? Clean it up a little bit, but yes, he's asking why has space travel been getting delayed for decades now?
Politics and economics.
Any thoughts over there, Flatzoid?
Yeah, space doesn't exist. It violates the second law of thermodynamics. So obviously it's just a charade to keep people thinking space is real.
Nonsense.
All right.
Have you shown any demonstration where gas pressure can exist without containment?
You're just rigging the deck to try, like, defining terms and defining the challenge to ensure that you appear to win.
Let's put it this way: space, the whole heliocentric model, violates the first law of thermodynamics. Okay, where did all this? Okay, but you're a creationist, so it's fine. You can say God created the first matter to be able to expand, so that's fine on your. But
I don't
could take
believe in
the
the Big Bang.
that's brilliant. I'm happy about that because you would agree that would just violate the first law of thermodynamics.
I don't know that it would do that, but I do know that the Bible has a different narrative. And I believe that is a historical narrative. So I don't believe that's the history of the universe.
Hey,
I
something we
don't
agree-
say that it violates the law of thermodynamics. That's nonsense.
Do you know what the first law is?
I think it's the one. Is it the one about entropy? Like,
No, that's the second law. The first law is no matter can be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred or transformed.
oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, the beginning of the universe is kind of a philosophical question anyway. Like, how did all of this matter and energy get here in the first place? So, like, yeah,
Yeah.
there's different theories around that, but yeah.
Yeah, and then the second law is the entropy law. So if we had to have the entropy will always increase in an isolated system. Now, if the universe is this isolated system and the Earth is an open system in this isolated system, all the gas we have will entropy will increase and fill the available space, and therefore we wouldn't be able to breathe. So the mere fact we have gas to breathe means we have containment.
And the mere
Usually
fact that we
say
have a pressure gradient proves that you're wrong.
pressure gradients are a delta. They come after pressure gradients. Pressure up comes after pressure. So you first need the
Sorry,
containment.
they're
then
what?
You first need containment. Then you need the pressure, which is the gas. Then you need the pressure gradient. Pressure gradient comes after the pressure already needing.
Oh, you're
to
just
exist.
you're just making up rules. That's not how physics
Okay.
works.
Show me pressure gradient without pressure.
That's not how science works.
That is how science works. Show me pressure gradients without pressure.
That's literally an incoherent question. How can
Show
you have a
me-
pressure gradient without pressure?
Exactly my point. So you claiming that to come afterwards, you're claiming delta is now before x doesn't make a sense. If I have pressure gradient, the antecedent for that means I have pressure, the gas. For the antecedent for gas pressure is the containment.
Yeah, that's
No
the rule you made up.
containment. No containment, no gas pressure, no gas
You just
pressure
made that
gradient.
up.
Okay, I can give you another example. Do you like steak? Do you eat a piece of steak?
This is from your guy, Sovereign Soul.
No. This is actually quantum rays long ago. You eat
Okay,
a piece of
whatever.
steak. Okay.
It comes from
Will
a
that
cow.
piece
I
of
get it.
yeah,
Yeah.
will that piece of steak exist without the cow?
The soul is ace, man.
Yeah, but if you have also a piece of venison and you are too dumb to tell the difference between venison and steak, and you
Yeah, but
say,
that's-
I have this piece of meat, therefore it came from a cow, that's what you're doing.
No, but a gas is very specific. You can't fake a gas, can you?
Nobody's saying that we're faking gas. We're saying that the pressure is contained by a different process for a different reason than it
What
being
process?
it's the fact that things fall down.
Gas doesn't fall down. Gas is
Yeah, it does.
homogeneous. No, gas is homogeneous. It moves in all
It
directions.
actually is not
It has
homogeneous.
it has a dispersal rate, and the second law of thermodynamics also has what we call the arrow of time. So if a denser gas, let's say, because you're claiming, okay, I can, for instance, take sulfur hexafluoride and you can pour it down, it still disperses into the availability. So it just takes longer because it has what we call the arrow of time. It's denser, so it takes more energy and longer to disperse. It still disperses.
So it does fall down.
And it still disperses.
Yeah, it falls down and then disperses for exactly the same reason that water finds its level. Because things
No.
fall down. And in fluid, when a fluid is You
Okay,
know,
but then in your logic, I can go and buy a bucket of propane and never need to worry about closing it.
no, that's not what I said.
You claiming gas is pulled down? It doesn't. It disperses. You would
You're-
agree.
A
If you had
propane
to have an
tank needs
open-
to be
if you
under
have-
pressure.
If you had to have a bucket of even sulfur hexafluoride, would you agree that eventually it will all disperse into the available space?
I don't know off the top of my head, actually.
It will.
Okay.
This is why all gas needs to be contained, because if it's not contained, it will fill the available space. And this is why the second law of thermodynamics is violated on your globe, because you guys claim Earth is an open system in the universe, which is a separate system. So therefore, the gas we breathe will fill that available space. The fact we have gas pressure and gas pressure gradients requires it to be enclosed.
No, that's just wrong.
No, that's not just wrong. That's how it works. That's how.
No, you just made up
Thermodynamics.
the requirement that it has to
I
have a
did not.
container.
I can show you actual MIT professors giving this exact teachings, thermodynamic processes, kinetic molecule theories.
Well, I
everything.
guarantee you that they would not say that the idea of a spherical atmosphere next to space violates whatever laws they're trying to teach. That's
Well, I can guarantee you no
that's
one can
cherry
tell
picking.
me. I can guarantee you no one can tell me how gas doesn't need containment when literally that's what it teaches.
That's not what it teaches. You
I
just
just
made
told
that
you,
up.
and I can give you many MIT instructors that will tell you you're wrong.
You would be cherry picking them out
How?
of context.
How?
Because they all would assume would agree that the atmosphere is next to space and does not need anything other than gravity to restrain it.
Show me gravity restraining gas.
That's not what we were just
You
That's-
just said gravity will restrain it. So
we were
show-
talking about what these experts would say if you
and they
brought
would
them
say
in.
it will fill the available space.
No, they would say that the atmosphere is restrained by gravity.
Do you know Joule's expansion of free gas?
I'm not familiar with whatever you're referring to specifically, no.
Okay, do you know any gas laws? Let's put it that way. Any gas laws? Gay-Lussac
Jeff
law,
fun.
Scholz
This
law,
is why I didn't want to go into this, is
Avogadro's law.
because I know that you have your script that is very, very, very
script?
well rehearsed. It's a script.
It's not a script. It's
You don't
knowledge on the
understand any
subject.
single piece of it, and now you're
So
going to try to
because-
make it look
wait,
like
wait,
I
wait,
don't
wait, wait.
understand.
Wait, so because I have knowledge on a subject, it's a script.
No,
This is as
because
good- this is as
because
good
your
as-
knowledge
this is
on the
as good
subject
as-
is garbage.
This is the same. This is exactly the same as when Dave Farina takes his word salad bottle to Witsit. Because he doesn't understand the words coming out of his mouth, it's word salad. Now, because I understand the words coming out of my mouth, you don't understand the subject, it's a script.
No,
How does that
that's
work?
not the logic I applied.
That is the logic you applied.
No, it's not.
Okay, then tell me, how's it a script? Tell me, what I'm saying is, did I say what's wrong with what I said?
I believe it's a script. If I don't have enough knowledge to combat it, then I can't show to other people that it's a script. I can't demonstrate that in a debate, and that's why I didn't want to get into this.
All right.
But it is a script.
Let us move on from here. It sounds like
Yeah.
well, this question was from LJ, so I gave you the last word on that one, Peter. Next one's for you, Flatzoid. This is from Johnny 46BA. So thank you so much for your guys' support. Flatzoid, if you are so convinced the Bible says the Earth is flat, when the final experiment shows 24-hour sun in Antarctica, will you become an atheist?
First of all, I've been saying this a lot with the final experiment. The flat Earth doesn't make a claim on what the sun does. Even if it shows 24-hour sun, it doesn't disprove the Bible in any way or a flat Earth. The only one that's possible for it to disprove, because the only one's making a claim here, are the Globers. So no, it will not disprove anything, because the Bible specifically says it circuits the heavens.
Just because you're too ignorant to apply the logic doesn't mean that your model does not require certain
Okay.
things.
Okay, let's put it this way. Does your globe dictate the sun to be visible 24 hours a day in Antarctica?
At certain times in certain places, yes.
Does the flat Earth say what the sun is, where it is? It's supposed to be there 24. It should go down, or should be there in Antarctica 24 in that certain time.
It does say that it circles clockwise above the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn, does it
Did the
not?
Bible say that? Did the Bible say that?
The Bible does not know.
Oh, okay. So again, another Robothian model, maybe?
Is that not what you believe?
Like I'm saying, another Robothian model, maybe?
You're just running away.
No, no,
What
no.
is it? What is it that you believe?
The question was biblical. He brought, you are biblical. Now I'm telling you, you see, you have to separate. There's different beliefs in things, just like even on the flat earth side, you get Pac-Man believers, you get simulation believers or whatever. Okay. I subscribe to the Hebrew cosmology, the biblical because I trust
Okay,
God.
so do
I
you
know,
believe the sun goes underneath the earth at night?
doesn't say.
That's what the Hebrews believed.
Show me.
I did already.
No, that wasn't the Hebrew cosmology. That was Near Eastern cosmologies. That wasn't the Hebrew cosmology.
All right.
What about the book of Enoch? Is that not Hebrew?
Is the book of Enoch in the Bible?
No, but it's Hebrew.
Last word for you, Flatzoid, on this one.
Yeah, and yes, I do like the book of Enoch, by the way, guys. I think it is something you have to read as a Christian. No, I will not become an atheist because it doesn't make it not flat. It can only make it not a globe. And that's literally just trying to drag flat earthers into a false dichotomy.
All right. LJ is asking to you, Peter. Actually, sorry, not to you, Peter. This is for both of you. So I'll give you each a minute. What would change your minds to go to the other side? So I'll give you a minute on the floor to start, Peter.
That's kind of a loaded question because to me, the prospect of the Earth being flat, especially according to Robothemist cosmology, and by that I mean the sun circling around the Earth above it instead of going underneath. That cosmology has never, ever, 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 ever provided even one tiny shred of coherence or evidence or argument of any kind. So it would probably take something very dramatic that would throw me into a lot of confusion for a long time in order for me to change my mind.
All right, 1 minute there, Flatzoid on the clock.
Well, it's actually very simple. If anybody can demonstrate to me the no need for containment to have gas pressure.
All righty. Well, thank you so much to both of our speakers for answering all these questions. We do have quite a few moving in. We'll try to get through them maybe a little quicker, just to respect the time of our speakers. They have been, well, by the time we get done, we'll be well over 2 hours, I'm sure. So thank you again, Peter and Flatzoid, for having this discussion. Theodore Paul says, Flats, unicorn math. You sound like you fell down the stairs on your head. Oh, Theodore, you're so pleasant. So stop
Love you,
making
Theodore.
things your future kids will be embarrassed by. Well, Theodore, I read your question. There's not much to engage with there besides, yes, much love to you. Very pleasant sentiments. Joshua Jamie, if we are using math to measure the Earth, that is clearly different than making up math for a unicorn that can't be measured.
Yeah,
So-
but
Thank you.
okay, that's actually a good point, by the way. And the problem with the globe is most of it is based on something that can't be measured. Now, when we measure the Earth, it's based on planar measurements, flat measurements. That's my whole point. That's how we were going to planar surveying.
Any thoughts on the other side?
It's not based on planar measurements.
Literally.
He's just wrong.
Just wrong. Can you show me how I'm wrong?
You're the one who made the claim. That means you have the burden of proof.
No, you said I'm wrong. You just said I'm wrong. I'm telling you planar surveying uses horizontal datums. Last time I checked, horizontal does not bend, doesn't curve.
It does because I showed that, you know, the
Horizontal
sun,
curves.
it changes relative to your longitude and latitude.
Okay, planar surveying can go up to 150 miles, okay? They do not assume any curve. Do you
Maybe
understand
you are referring to
much
some
curve-
more
how
specific
much-
discipline than I thought. I don't know. Planar
How much-
surveying, I guess maybe you're gerrymandering the claim then. So maybe you are right after all, technically.
Yeah, they only measure incline and slope angles based on the horizontal datum.
All right. Next one's coming in for you, Peter. This is from Deems Traveler. So thank you so much for your support. Can the Glober explain how radio transmissions can be sent 1,700 miles and received first try, like Moroni did, and documented if the Earth is curving?
I think he meant Marconi.
Yeah, they may have had a typo. Sorry.
Well, I haven't studied that specific thing that they're trying to bring up. So I would have to qualify, by saying that I'm not an expert on that. But I do know there's such a thing as over the horizon radar. There's, radio waves that bounce between the clouds bounce between the ionosphere and the Earth, and they follow the curvature of the Earth that way. There's the fact that radio signals propagate equally in all directions generally. And therefore, no matter where you are, you're going to see a blip. And then, they can also be reflected if you're doing radar or whatever, according to diffuse reflection, which means they reflect back in all directions. And therefore, no matter where you are, you're going to see the reflection blip. So, I mean, I don't know what there is to explain beyond that, unless we dig into the specifics that I haven't studied.
Yeah, you see, the history behind that is the wave band that they're using actually is line of sight. And what happened is there was no such thing as the ionosphere in that time. So they came up with an excuse to say, oh, no, it's just bouncing off the ionosphere to get that exact refracted angle.
This is revisionist history. The ionosphere,
just saying.
there's never been a time the ionosphere did not exist, except maybe in Genesis. And
No.
also,
That's
there
the
is
point.
no spectrum that is exempt from Snell's law. You can't just say, oh, this part of the spectrum is line of sight. No, all of it can be refracted. It just depends on the conditions.
The wavelength he's talking about is literally based on line of sight.
It is literally radio waves, right?
Based on line of sight.
Radio waves refract.
Line of sight propagation. In other words, if he had to push it up, it will not reach the receiver.
What? Push it up?
It has to be line of sight to the receiver to work. That's his point.
Yeah, that's because generally the refraction, if present, is very minimal.
Okay, next one.
Theodore Paul says, Flats, way to go to the Bible when you know you're losing.
No, this was a biblical debate.
Is
This
this
is the
the
whole
same?
point of this debate.
This is the same.
It was supposed to be
pleasant Theodore.
biblical.
Sorry, I was
Admittedly,
just saying,
yeah,
it's the same pleasant person from before. I'm just picking on you, Theodore, but we might not have too much to say on that. But yeah, there was intention to go down several avenues regarding differences on that subject. So yeah, make no mistake, that's not.
I just have to,
so
I
go
just have to point out, and even Ryan knows, when I debate something that's not based on biblical, I don't bring the Bible into it. But tonight was specifically about the Bible. That's why we were debating Bible-based
Yeah, it was.
things. Yeah.
Can confirm.
Can confirm. Excellent. Yeah, we all agree that on that for sure. Vipe asks here, Flatzoid, explain the counter rotating celestial spheres directly above your head while standing on the north versus south pole or close to them.
Easy. We usually do this with a demonstration with the road. If I'm looking north and I have cars coming from the east to west, they will traveling to my right to left. If I had to cross the road and I look south, those same cars that were coming east to west are now going to be left to right based on my location. And
you apparently didn't understand the question because it's clockwise versus counterclockwise, not simply left to right versus right
if you
to left.
take the clock, stand on this side, it will seem clockwise. Yeah, well, the clock is different because that's turning this way, but you're looking up. But yeah, it's based on relative.
Yeah, we are looking up when we observe star trails.
And we see it in one direction because we are only let.
No, we can see the whole circle if we look at one of the poles. If you're in the northern hemisphere,
so if I'm
you
in
can
the
see
north looking north, it sees it clockwise. If I had to look at that same turning with back, it will now seem to go the other way.
No, that's not true. If you're looking up at something on a ceiling, if you put a clock on the ceiling, It would still be clockwise no matter whether you're
Yeah, but
standing on one side or
the
the
clock
other.
is sitting like this. The stars aren't sitting like this. The stars are moving around you like this, not like this. You get it?
So you're saying it's like a
A
clock
different
on a wall
orientation. It's a
instead of on
different
the ceiling.
orientation. I'm trying to say it's based on your relative position. It's the same as if you go to the equator and you look up, you will see it go from behind you forward to you. And then from the right, it will look like it's curving right and to the left, but left.
Yeah, that shows a globe.
No, that doesn't.
Yes, it
It's
does.
literally relative position.
The only
Everything-
way that can work is on a sphere.
No, that's
At
not.
least if the sky is a sphere, which is what the ancients believed for a
Dome,
long time.
Firmament. The firmament, yeah.
Stereoma referred to the Greek belief that the sky
Half-
was a sphere.
Half dome.
No, they
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. The firmament is a half dome. It's not a full dome, just to let you know.
well, I was saying the Greeks believed it was a full sphere.
I don't care what the Greeks believed. I'm just telling you what the firmament says. And even the
So
Greeks. that
every
came
time you
in
say firmament,
and when
that
they
comes
say
from the Greek
stereo-
word stereoma.
No, it didn't.
Ultimately.
Raka, rakia, stereoma comes after, not
And
before.
so does firmament. I said every time you say firmament, that comes through
Firmament is
Greek.
the English. Firmament is the English translation of stereoma, which comes from rakia, which comes from raka.
Yeah, so you had to go through 3 languages: Hebrew, Greek,
And
Latin
okay,
to English.
did raka say it was spherical?
Well, no, it didn't say anything
Did
about
rakia
shape
say it
or
was
hardness.
spherical?
The Hebrew, we already talked about the Hebrew. I was simply pointing out firmament
no.
goes through
Aramaic as well,
3
even
languages.
the Aramaic language as well. That's not spherical. The only reason the Greeks called it spherical is because they believed the Earth to be a globe. That doesn't make the firmament.
Yeah, and the Septuagint
by
and
the
the
way-
Vulgate that gave you the word firmament also came from that belief.
All right,
Is the
question for
Latin Vul-
Flatzoid, so last word
Is
to
the
you.
Lat? Yeah. Do you read the Latin Vulgate or the Bible, Peter?
The Latin Vulgate is the Bible.
No,
It's
it's
a
not.
translation of the Bible into Latin.
How many books of the Bible in the Latin Vulgate?
I don't know off the top of my head.
It's not the same as the Bible, just to let you know. It's the Roman Catholic translation.
All right, next question's coming in from Matthew Eastman. Thank you so much for your support for the channel and super chat. Time zones are derived from longitude lines and ground position of the sun. How can you have time zones if the sun sets below your feet?
On you go, Matthew. Eastman.
Was
That's
that for me
for
or?
you, Peter.
I think that one would be for you there, Peter. Yep.
Well, you can't. That's why we know the Earth is a globe.
Any other
I mean,
inputs or thoughts on the other
and
side?
did I misunderstand the question? Like, if it's because eye level is relative. Okay, so when the sun sets for me, it goes below my feet according to my definition of up, down, and horizontal. But my definition of up, down, and horizontal differs from someone 69 miles west of me by 1 degree.
Liam,
You know, for every 69 miles you travel, your definition of up, down, and sideways is going to change by 1 degree. And so that's how the sun can continually go below eye level for someone somewhere at all times, just in a circle.
completely Liam answer. Crap.
All right. Any other thoughts on the other side, or do you want to carry on?
Yeah, we're not falling away.
All right. ADHD project says if it quacks like a duck, it's a robothemist. I think ADHD
Not
is,
even funny.
just showing some appreciation for your points there. So yeah, always fine. But we will move on.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your for super chat there, ADHD projects. And I actually got an email related to you being on the show. We're gonna get. I'll send you a message afterwards. We're gonna get ADHD back on. So stay tuned, everybody. Deems Traveler. All molecular and intermolecular attractive forces are electrostatic in nature. Quote from Purdue University. How do you isolate gravity from electrostatics?
Well, I think it's by making it equal. So, like, yes, on a molecular level, if you take individual pieces of molecules or individual molecules, then you're going to find some electromagnetic force in between them. But as a whole, an object like a piece of wood or like this plastic water bottle, you know, the sum of all of those forces in all of those molecules equals zero. It has a net zero charge, or at least close to zero. And therefore, we know that if I dropped this water, I'm not going to drop that, but we know if I did drop that, it would not be because of electromagnetics, because the net charge of that collection of molecules is zero.
Yeah, and not to mention you got different type of properties of magnetic charge. You got ferromagnetism, paramagnetism, and dimagnetism. They have discharge and charge. So why aren't we seeing frogs floating in the air? In other words,
Because it's not electromagnetic.
there
It's
we go.
gravity.
No, not gravity.
Yes.
Relative density disequilibrium.
Those are
Of gravity,
things
but-
related to gravity.
No,
Yes.
it's not specific gravity. You are talking about specific gravity. I'm not saying anything about specific gravity. I'm saying relative density
was not either.
disequilibrium.
I'm
Yeah, you're
saying
telling
those
me-
terms are from
No.
the study of gravity.
No, even buoyancy, Archimedes' principle, it was derived 1,900 years before gravity was even postulated. They didn't need gravity then, they still don't need it now, even though you put in your equations. And therefore showing equations don't make reality.
Last word for you, Peter.
I didn't say equations make reality, but if you're using equations to describe reality, then you can use the equation to corroborate, falsify, or deduce. And apparently you don't understand that. Archimedes' principle is, they believe that things fall downward. So I don't know what you're trying to say about that.
Things do fall, yeah, I agree. Things fall. I'm just saying it's not gravity.
Well, they didn't study it until the 14 or 1500s, but it's gravity.
No, it's not. Gravity, buoyancy requires gravity to be a force. Gravity is not a force, so therefore it null and nullifies that argument that gravity is the
It
cause.
is a force.
It's not.
It is.
It's not. All
Einstein
right, Peter
says
gets
it's
the last
not.
word here. We gotta move on, you guys. Yeah, that's fun though. All right, so sorry guys, but yeah, if you had any last little thoughts on that, Peter, then we're.
It's not a force that acts
Flatzoid.
as a force that doesn't exist.
Newtonian physics still applies.
All right, no worries. Theodore Paul coming in again. Ask Flatzoid, if God is all powerful, why would an infinitely expanding universe be a problem for a God to have a personal relationship within each of us? How can a universe expanding quickly remove God from our lives if God is the Alpha?
That's actually a good point. But no, the thing is, if you look at God's character, he wants to be close to you. The fact that he's ever expanding away from you goes against God's character. That's my point.
Straw man.
But no, it doesn't. But no, it doesn't limit his abilities.
The expansion of the universe simply does not mean that God is getting farther away. That's just a non sequitur. A straw man.
Into the break, look at his nose. He's definitely already been punched, without a doubt.
A1. All right, let's carry into Joshua Jamie's question. Thank you so much for your support. Important corrections should enter into the calculation of any long trajectory, namely the curvature of the Earth, increasing the range and the altitude and gravitational attraction. Quote from U.S. Navy institution. Any thoughts
And
there?
he can show this. And he can show this.
Well, Joshua Jamie, maybe if you want to follow up, but yeah, if we got anything else there, I'll just repeat
Yeah, because
go ahead.
Yeah, the last time I checked, if someone's in a war situation, they're not gonna say, "Hang on, please don't shoot at me. I just have to work out all my calculations before I shoot at you."
That's why they have computers and lookup
Yeah.
tables.
In World War II, before they had the computers, what did they do then?
They invented computers during World War II for this
Were they-
purpose, partly.
Oh, were
And
they
all-
fast enough to do it?
Well, not at the time yet, no, but they had lookup tables. Lookup tables go back hundreds of years.
Yeah, in which men had to go and calculate with themselves.
Mm,
And those lookup tables, do you know how what the parameters are to be used for certain things, like let's say for instance Coriolis. Do you know the parameters that needed to be done before you could say let's use the Coriolis parameters?
Are you asking what things had to be measured before?
They had, okay, let's put this. So they had a set table with special parameters, and those are the baseline parameters. And what you had to go through all those parameters, and if those parameters don't meet, then you have to go to the special parameters, would be for Earth turn and curve and all that nonsense, which is never shown. That's the point. That's the point. They don't ever use it.
Okay. That might be a good time to move on from there. We got just a few super chats left to go. So once again, a big thank you to everybody who has asked questions to our speakers here. I'm sure we'll see both Flatzoid and Peter again back on the platform. And once again, Peter, this is your debut on Modern Day Debate. So welcome to the space. As I said, I
Thank
hope
you.
to see you back here again to have more discussions. It's been a lot of fun. So if you're watching the live chat and you haven't already, hit the like button. And we got last two questions currently now. So if any more come in, we'll read them. But if not, then we'll wrap up after these two and do our closings. So Bitter Truth asks, Earth is rectangle. Flatzoid, do you agree?
No.
It's a loaf of
I don't
bread.
know. I would say based on biblical cosmology, it says circle. So no, sorry, two different shapes,
So then what are the corners of the Earth?
cardinal directions.
Ah, something we agree on.
We need to
Your hermeneutic is just such a patchwork.
we need to have like we need to have like a YouTube thing that we can pop up when these moments happen. Like they agree and like explosions on the side of the screen. Like
He's just being selective though. That's what
consensus together. Oh, that's great. All right, so let's move into Theodore Paul says, Flatzoid, what is x in the equation? Is 6x times 3 equals 120? Oh,
No idea.
asking
There
us
we go.
math
Next.
questions. What are you doing here,
Yeah,
Theodore
yeah.
Paul?
How dare you ask a flat Earth in math? Come on, what's wrong with you?
I was doing a show and it was a pre-stream with MC Tune and they were asking me math questions and I was getting really smacked. I was like, oh no,
Let's
I
put it
can't
this way: I
remember
was an
so
art student. I was an art student, not a math student.
so don't feel too bad about that. So yeah,
Yeah.
what we'll do is we'll move into our 1 minute closers. And yeah, thanks once again, everybody in the live chat. Smack the like button if you haven't. Yeah, Peter, I'll give you 1 minute on the floor to yeah, let everybody know where they can find you, thoughts on your discussion, on the discussion today, and also maybe other topics you'd like to discuss in the future.
All right. Well, I'm most of my followers are on TikTok. I didn't choose TikTok. It's just it just happened to be where I got the most traction. So sometimes the social media chooses you instead. I also have had content on YouTube for much longer, but it just never got traction. So you can find me at Peter Markley. That's PeterMarkley on both platforms. And yeah, I hope I was not too irritated or frustrated with you, Flatzoid. It is irritating and frustrating. I can't deny that, but yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Well, the
I
only
hope
other
to
question
do better.
would be, are there any other subjects you'd like to debate in the future, just to let our audience know kind of where you're sitting and maybe stir the pot a little, you know?
Well, I'm a young Earth creationist, but I don't know that I'd be willing to debate that. So pretty much I think the only thing I'm open to debating on is shape of the Earth and all of the different.
If you debate and you're young Earth the creationist, why not debate it? If you're 100% on it.
With you on young Earth creationism, you are an embarrassment to Christians.
Wow.
Ooh, coming in with a hard.
Wow. I was supposed to say something nice about him now.
I'm
Oh no.
Flatzoid.
Well,
I
gee.
really don't mean that in an insulting way. I know it's
Literally
insulting.
me and said it's not insulting.
I'm
Wow, okay.
I'm sorry. It's just I have to be honest. You are an
He did mean that in an insulting way. Unbelievable.
scripture up. Okay, that's fine.
You're abusing scripture.
All right. This, not that this isn't juicy, but let's keep it friendly. Like, we came so far. Oh man.
I'm sorry.
I
sorry.
still like you, Peter. Don't worry.
It's fine. All right, so
I
you,
kept it together for so long.
well, I have one more coming in actually. If you wouldn't mind entertaining,
Yeah, go ahead.
Joshua Jamie asks, you can find a
I
specific
want to still
long
doing.
trajectory in instructions at U.S. Navy institution. You have clearly never considered that you may be wrong. Earth is a globe.
I actually done a whole stream where I actually showed a 755-page manual and went through some of the things and spoke with your mopped Chris, shout out to him, where we showed that some of the parameters you need and those parameters are not met.
All right, excellent. Did you have any thoughts there on the question, Peter? Before we hand it over to Flatzoid for his 1 minute.
Well, I mean, Flatzoid hasn't even. If when he reviewed my video on epistemology was any indication, then he was probably pausing every 5 seconds and could not even listen to one single point that was made, or I guess this was a page, these were pages he was reading. So I doubt he understood one single thing he read.
Again,
all right. Without getting more into your closing remarks, yeah, let's give you the floor there, Flatzoid. So where everybody can find you, your thoughts on our discussion today, and of course other topics you may want to discuss in the future on Modern Day Debate.
Awesome. Thank you very much, guys. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Kicked, Twitch, YouTube, all under Flatzoid. You'll find me there on Twitter, X. Thank you, Peter. I do like you, by the way, even though we don't agree on things. I just have to point out, when you know someone's insulting you, they've lost the debate. Also note, I'm the only one that brought up scriptures. I'm the only one that didn't just hand wave dismiss things the whole time. I am also the one that showed knowledge on the subjects and just said, no, because you don't understand, therefore you don't understand. So that was practically tonight, me showing the one that has knowledge and the scriptures. And unfortunately, I'm the one that gets insulted because of that. Hey, that's life. But thanks, guys. It was fun. And Peter, by the way, I have nothing against you. I do like you. Keep up what you're doing there.
Well said, Flat.
Oh, and what I would like to debate, actually, I'd debate anything, to be honest. I'm not really bound to anything. Flat Earthers are just the thing I've been roped into with debates. Everybody just wants to debate me on Flat Earth. But that's why I enjoyed this opportunity for biblical cosmology, because I've wanted to do this a lot. I'd like to actually debate on ontological primitives sometime, maybe. That can be quite cool.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I think there's other things that we might be able to get you on for based on tonight's discussion. So,
no problem.
yeah,
No problem, man.
Joshua Jamie just said one last thing. I just read the manual and quoted it to you that they account for the curve of the Earth and
like I said, it's just because Flats had say stream failed, so I decided to go live with it. You know what I mean?
Just carry on.
Gunner's Manual 16-inch, go to page 4.
All right, we are done taking super chats, everybody. So yeah, that will be the closing for our debate. So thank you, Peter and Flatzoid, for coming out. We really appreciate you here at Modern Day Debate, having these discussions. We try to keep it as neutral as we can, and I think this was great. So if you haven't already, we got some debates coming up here for next week, Friday already. It's Friday coming up. We have the Trump or Biden debate, Alex Stein versus Dr. J.F. Garapi. So if you haven't hit the notification bell for that one, do so. I've also got 2 new speakers that I've been working with, allegedly Ian, who's on TikTok, and then I have another fellow that's on TikTok called The Right Corner that I'm going to be hosting hopefully this Sunday. And then we also have a debate that we're going to have the exact date to be determined yet, so you'll see that in there. Make sure you hit the notification. It's going to be Destiny versus Dr. Javad Hashmi. So
just waiting to see if Flat says he's going to do his stream now, because he's got it set for half an hour, but I dare say he'll do it in a minute.
We will see you next time. Take care, everybody.
No, man.
Not after that. Is that done?
That's it. Done did. That's it. Done did. That's it. Done did. All right, guys, I'm going to stop there. I dare say Flats will be coming on now rather than half an hour, but I don't know for certain. But see you guys over there. Bless you guys. Here the sun sets free. It's free.
Indeed.
Indeed. Ta-ra.